Are we heading towards a national divorce? So, national divorce is basically the most peaceful option, I think, that could come out in the future of America. America is a deeply divided nation. The election has only shown that. Families are even divided. Uh, People are divided. I think a national divorce, which is what MTG was throwing around, okay, yeah, and we're starting to see that red states are becoming redder, blue states are mixed. Some are becoming bluer and some are becoming redder, like of New York. But most of the country is headed towards either a civil war or a national divorce. This is after the midterms, so basically, it's gonna become very similar to what happened in 2020. But instead, now Republicans will barely control the House, and it'll be a 50-50 most likely in the Senate. Unless, of course, Big Masters pulls it off somehow in the Senate and becomes 51, and Walker somehow pulls off, and the runoff is 52. But this is not. This might. But a national divorce might happen. I think it'll be more than just Democratic and Republican states. Okay. As well. Okay. For example, look at Illinois. Here. This is the Illinois results. Here. If they were load. Most of Illinois is mostly Republican. Most of Illinois is mostly red, except the Chicago area, basically. So that means the Chicago area really should be its own place. For example, in Illinois, the rest of the state will become a republic, will be part of the red state. And the demographics of both countries will probably resemble Brazil. Democrats will probably resemble Brazil, and Republicans will probably resemble around, a much more, because I would be surprised if there was a great migration from both Democrat areas to Democrat areas and Republicans to Republican areas. And the problem is that many of the cities vote Democrat, except of Miami now. And the problem is there are a lot of Republican states and a lot of Republican areas that will gradually leave the areas. For example, Oregon, Western Oregon leaving for Idaho. And what happens to those regions? What happens to most of Illinois? What happens to most of Wisconsin that does not agree with Madison, does not agree with Milwaukee? What happens to most of Michigan that does not agree with the Detroit area? What happens with most of New York, upstate New York, that does not agree with most of, and of course, Upper Maine? I think the real point, that is, and a Republican and Democrat country would more look like this. Here, by county. Okay. Really? They want us. It will more look like this. Okay. I don't really see a blue America country really surviving that long. Okay, maybe in the New England and California, but it will probably look like this. Northern California will probably split off with Nevada, though, because Washoe County is now a Republican county. And Clark County will probably stay with Nevada. Clark County is becoming a Republican county, slowly but surely. Arizona, mostly is red besides Maricopa. New Mexico, the oil-heavy counties will probably join Texas. The rural parts of Colorado will probably join surrounding states. And it's the same thing with the Midwest. A lot of Midwest is Republican, with the exception of the cities. Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, Indiana as well, the Chicago area. You also have the entire area of New York, upstate New York, and you have like Virginia, the Nova area. There's a lot of Republican areas. I think the another thing that's pretty likely is a civil war between red and blue counties. Well, of course, various other factors try to, gain. It depends. Of course, I made a very similar video to this on Rumble, but it's the YouTube. The more I think this is gonna be the more YouTube friendly version of this type of video. Okay. You'll have, of course, many other smaller separatist movements, including, white, black nationalists, cartels along the border, trying to seize land from both parties. You'll have black Antifa, not Black Bloc, Black Bloc nationalists, Black Bloc socialists, communists, socialists taking over areas. Kind of like that one prediction they made on, kind of like that one video called the Second American Civil War as well. And if a second Civil War happens, I think people who live in swing counties, like McHenry, is an example of that, or if you live in, for example, Philly suburbs, it's going to be very, very bad for you guys, okay? Or, for example, in the swing counties in South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, which there isn't really much swing counties in Florida anymore, but in Texas as well. And especially, I think the states are going to be the worst affected in a second Civil War. They're going to be the ones starved out of food. They're going to be the ones, losing food because they also have a food crisis. And I think the food crisis will get worse if there's a civil war in America. I think the food crisis will get worse. The gas prices, the gas. I think the economic thing is only going to get worse. Okay, and bad economies only cause more unrest. America's economy, Joe Biden has done at least a bit of a job to make the economy better, but he hasn't really done that really great of a job as well. And I think that a civil war could very well happen in America as well. Northern, as well. But a national divorce is also pretty likely as well, as people of both political parties do not want to live with each other. But the problem is, what about the enclaves? What about places like most of Illinois, most of rural Illinois? What about most of rural Minnesota? What about most of rural Wisconsin? Most of rural Michigan? Most of rural California? Okay, rural Nevada? Okay, rural Oregon? Rural Washington? Okay, and the same thing can be said. I really wonder how long will a Democrat country last? Okay, it'll probably go by county-wide, and I wonder how long a Democrat country will last. Okay, I think the real divide will be with them, because I think a country that is not geographically connected does not work, and usually splits off. And the most recent example of this is Bangladesh and Pakistan. Bangladesh and Pakistan were not geographically connected, and that caused Bangladesh to split from Pakistan. Okay, geographically connected, as well. Pakistan was not really an offensive ruler either, and I think you'll probably see a united Democrat-Arab country at the beginning, but I think the Democrat-United country will turn to multiple countries, and I think most of these countries will probably collapse, and will probably signal the end of the Democratic countries. Maybe except for California and the New England area as well. So yeah, that is basically it about this video. That is what is really happening in America. America is a very divided country now, and I think there's no turning back from being a national divorce or a civil war. Goodbye.